Salute, salute, salute. Make sure you double tapping that screen. What's up, y'all? Sniper in Idaho, man. Unalives 2 firefighters, man. You can't make this up. It's a crazy day and time, man. Let's get into it.
It is a sad day in Kootenai County. Very, very sad. Today, we're going to go over the timeline. We're going to introduce everybody that's up here.
What's up,
Chairman
Rick?
of the BOCC is Bruce Matari.
2 firefighters unalived in Idaho, guys.
Lieutenant Jess Stinson from the Idaho State Police. We have Bill DeRuyter from the Coeur d'Alene Police Department. And we have Pete Hawley from the Kootenai County Fire and Rescue.
2 firefighters unalived by a
timeline.
Sniper in Idaho.
This is still a very, very fresh investigation. So, an incident. So many of these facts might change, but they are evolving as we speak. At approximately 1:21 this afternoon, we received a phone call that there was a fire on the backside or east side of Canfield Mountain. Fire assets responded to the scene, and at approximately 2 o'clock, firefighters broadcast that they were being shot at on Canfield Mountain.
2 firefighters unalived, guys. Lured in by a sniper
where we have
by reported
assets
brush fire
that are responding to the aid of these firefighters. We still have an active fire. We are managing about 17,000 square foot containment area. We are requesting other law enforcement agencies to assist us. We had a great response. We had the Spokane County Sheriff's Office responded in force, the Spokane Police, the Coeur d'Alene Police Department, the FBI.
What's up, Positive Vibes? What's up, Miss
agencies
What's up, Belinda?
responded right here in Idaho, Bonner County, Shoshone County, Kellogg. So we had about 300 law enforcement officers that were on scene that were trying to make heads and tails out of what was occurring.
2 firefighters
and during this
unalived in Idaho by a sniper,
we exchanged gunfire with the suspect, and we also got information. We received information from the White House, from Kash Patel, the FBI, from Governor Brad Little, and also Rebel Labrador, that anything that we needed, that they would absolutely respond. So we had a lot of assets that came into that command post. And then we had a briefing.
What's up,
about
Great 59?
6:30, about 18:30 hours at the command post. And in that briefing, we kind of gave an update to the agencies that this is still an active shooter, and that as soon as this individual could be neutralized, that he should be neutralized, and the threat should be eliminated as quickly as possible. At approximately 1940 hours, we did have information that let me back up just a second. We had a cell phone activation that was in the same spot since about 3:16. And that it was in the same area, and we honed in on that cell phone, and we saw that there was a male, appeared to be deceased, with a weapon nearby. So we have currently one dead shooter. Based on the preliminary investigation that was being conducted, keep in mind we had a fire that was rapidly it was approaching the body, so we had to scoop up that body, and we had to transport that body to a different location. But based on the preliminary information, we believe that is the only shooter that was on that mountain at that time.
That's crazy, so y'all. What is the world coming to?
Threat to the community at this time, based on the trajectory and based on the type of weapons that this individual had that we could recover, we believe only the one shooter. We did lose a Coeur d'Alene firefighter, and we did lose a firefighter from the Kootenai County Fire and Rescue. We have another firefighter that just came out of surgery from the Coeur d'Alene Police Department. I'm sorry, from the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department. Right? Is that true? Okay. He just came out of surgery. He is fighting for his life, but he's in stable condition. So
it's crazy, y'all.
We knew that
they were lured in by a bushfire into which a sniper started shooting at them.
Were to prolong into a 24 or 48-hour operation, we would need additional helicopters. We had 2 helicopters that were up, and we had snipers in them. So if they had an opportunity to take a shot, then we wanted them
continue to work on that like button, y'all. Double tap that screen and click the 3 dots, hit the thumbs up. Prayers for the 2 firefighters that were unalive.
Chief, is there anything that you'd like to say, or you want to take questions?
Take questions.
Okay. Right now, like I said, this information is very, very preliminary, and if you have a questions, just ask who you'd like that question directed to, and we'll try to answer it.
I don't know, Skinny. That's what they did, though.
This is just for the fire personnel. Are you able to share anything about these firefighters? If they
You have to subscribe to the channel to be able to type.
anything about them?
Press that subscribe button and you can type in the
What
chat.
the fire department is doing right now to assist the rest of their brothers who lost these guys, or is there anything at all you can give us?
We are not going to name the firefighters at this time, and there was a procession from Kootenai Health to the Spokane Coroner's office, but their families will need support.
Aiden Brown, Current Sioux News. You mentioned 3 firefighters that had been shot. Was there any other first responders or personnel that were injured during this operation?
No. As of right now, those are the only 3 that we have. We believe that everybody is off the mountain, so any civilians that were hiking during that time, we believe it's likely, had they been injured, they would have came forward. So.
But there was a belief at some point that there could have
Once again, you must subscribe in order to be able to type in the chat.
Been able to essentially
Once we get the likes up to 100, I'll take that
So we
off.
believe, based on the information that we've been able to collect, that we believe that there was only one shooter. And we based it on the weapons that we found at the scene, the type of injuries that were incurred by that weapon. So as of right now, from a very preliminary determination, we believe that there was only the one shooter.
And I know it's early, but do we have any sort of background on this person?
No.
Any motive?
Nope. Black shirt.
And from the
They found out who he was.
do we know if the person, you just said we don't have any background, do we know if he's possibly from here?
If you're in the video and want to
need
type,
to
you
wait
must
until a
subscribe to
positive
the channel, guys.
identification is made. So the gentleman used
Did the suspect shoot himself? Do we know that?
We don't know at this point in time. So the coroner's office will conduct their investigation, and so as of right now, we don't know.
Simply press that subscribe button and type away.
Are you able to give any insight on
We got updates from Trump, White House team. They just built a new detention
believe
center.
that the suspect started the fire, and we do believe
In
that it was
Florida?
an ambush, and it was
And the
intentional.
Senate is basically getting ready to
Yeah,
vote
we do
on the
believe
big,
that he started
beautiful
it,
bill.
and it was totally intentional what he did. In the back there in the tan.
Can you make the 911 call?
Shout out to everybody that's subscribing
There
to
was
the
a
channel,
gentleman that
guys.
made
I appreciate you.
the 911
Double
call.
tap
He
that
did not
screen, get the
identify
lights up.
himself as the shooter. So as of right now, we don't believe that he's the one that made the 911 call. But, you know, that could change because many times people don't use their real names and what have you, so.
Any description of the suspect?
No, not at this time, no. Gentleman in the red hat.
Brian Neal with KXOY. Is the fire present any problems with you as you're trying to collect evidence?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we scooped up that body, and as far as the preservation of the scene, you know, it's not perfect in this particular situation, but it's something that had to be done. So you have to evaluate each particular circumstance, and at this time, we felt like since the fire was approaching, we needed to scoop up that body, and it's contained, so there are law enforcement personnel that are up there, and we will conduct the investigation, continue it tomorrow morning. Crews will be there all night. So, you know, it's compromised, sure, but we had to do what we had to do to preserve the body. So,
What was the weapon?
we're not, like I said, we don't know if there's more weapons up there that he had. There is a belief that
A lone sniper, guys,
he ran and shot.
basically was found
So,
unalive
we don't
after
know
unaliving two
what we might
firefighters
be
in Idaho.
collecting once the fire threat diminishes. The gentleman in the black shirt?
Are other agencies still involved?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We,
must subscribe
you know,
in
on a
order to
large
be able to
operation
type.
like this, if we had to fuel helicopters, and there are some helicopters that had some really good technology that were able to pinpoint where that cell phone activity was. So there was our federal partners assisted us in this situation. 100% they did.
What location were we dealing with? Did you find the suspect?
Not too far from the original call for service. Yeah, not too far. Anybody I haven't called on? All right, gentleman in the black shirt.
You said you picked up the cell phone signal around 3:16, I think?
Yes.
This happened
how long
yesterday in Idaho, guys.
signal that you
Two
got and
firefighters
you were able to
unalive by a lone sniper,
It's about,
who was
an
basically
hour now.
later found unalive.
Yeah.
He lured them
So
there
around 5 days.
by
Right.
setting a brush fire, and when they
So you
came,
just said there was
he
a gun
ambushed
found,
them.
a weapon, correct?
Correct.
What kind was that?
We're not releasing that right now, just because we had to scoop everything up so quickly. We could not preserve the scene like traditionally we would like to. So we believe that there's a likelihood that when we are able to enter the scene again tomorrow without the threat of fire, that we'll find other weapons that were placed. So this was a total ambush. These firefighters did not have a chance.
Sheriff Garrett, with the spokesman review, can you just describe the terrain and how difficult it was, or maybe how simple it was to access?
You know, when you have an environment where you don't know where the bullets are coming from because of the trees and the shrubbery and what have you, it is daunting for police officers, let alone firefighters who are there just to put out the fire. So it's very, very difficult. Very difficult for drones or helicopters to see any individuals up there. So this was a total ambush, taken by surprise, and it's unfortunate. So.
Sheriff, firefighters deal
You must
with
subscribe to the channel to be able to type, guys.
all the time, but firefighters, are they trained in that type of situation?
No, this is something that we don't train for. It's not something we expect. It's not something our firefighters should have to deal with.
What's up, Charles?
In this situation, they were called to a grass fire, which is already something that we're very heightened and are anxious about this time of year. And they were doing everything
Continue
the
to
way that
double
they're supposed
tap
to do
that
it.
screen. Subscribe if you want to
Can we
type
get an
in the
update on the
chat.
fire? Do you have any sort of acreage?
This took place in Idaho. Two firefighters
About 20
unalive
acres.
by one lone
But
sniper,
unfortunately,
Candy.
we
That's
weren't
what
able
happened.
to put any resources on it because of the gunfire exchange. So, ma'am in the white there.
Sheriff Torres, reading with Crime 2, this is the week of 4th of July. First responders are already on defense with, this coming week. Just emotionally tell me how it feels to have something happen like this, especially with, such important authorities that are super important for a week like this too.
Yeah, I haven't, it hasn't sunk in yet. I mean, this is a situation where I don't even think a lot of us in this room has processed this. So, yeah, this community supports firefighters and law enforcement.
Any structures lost?
No, not at this time, no.
Is there any specific information about the actual location of where the shooter was at? Like, is there like, I don't want to say like an address, but like maybe like coordinates or anything like that?
We might be able to get that for you later, but I don't have that information now. Yeah. I would like to say something. There was some information that was broadcasted on social media.
Get the likes up.
And it's very, very important. These firefighters, police officers,
in Idaho,
in some cases have family. And for some of this information to have been broadcasted, I hope we can ask with our social media and our First Amendment auditors and our civilian journalists to take in consideration what you're putting out there on the social media, because it can be devastating it's devastating when somebody knocks at your door to tell you something like this, but to hear about it on social media, I'm just asking for people to be considerate in the most significant of injuries and times. So,
federal apparatus, I'm wondering what the White House has committed to, and the FBI and Homeland Security.
We had helicopters and personnel on the ground probably within the hour.
Also, in follow-up to that, this is obviously going to hit our community incredibly hard. It already has. I know, again, it's early. What can we do for the families? Will there be a memorial fund set up? Will there be some sort of way that we can, as a community, come together to support them? Because this is a devastating loss, and people want to put that in motion somewhere.
We're grieving as an organization, and I can speak for Coeur d'Alene Fire as well. So a lot of those steps have not been completely brought to fruition, especially with it being a weekend. We know that the Red and Blue Foundation and Anchored Coffee has already offered to do a lot of the donation collection, and we appreciate them. They've been a great supporter of law enforcement.
Two
and
firefighters
fire,
unalive
and
in
continue
Idaho,
to be a good
guys.
partner for us.
Make sure you're
So that's
subscribing
where I
if
would
you want to
initially encourage people to seek to provide some support for the families.
Can you say what?
I'd like to add, until a press release comes out by these two agencies, do not give money to a entity that says they're representing these people. They will put out a press release with the information, whether it's going to be an account at a bank or an account at another entity, but we will likely have some people that will try to scam based on this tragedy. So do not
been a new detention
give
center for
money
immigrants
to any entity until a press release is released. Is that
it's called
fair to say?
Alligator Alcatraz.
On where exactly to give this money.
Can you say, sorry, what you're doing for your firefighters right now, just because I know this is...
I would say it's very early on. They're just processing this right now. So, they're in shock. So is that a fair statement?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would say let's give it a day or two, and
we have mobilized peer support groups from all over the region for our people, and so that is something that we've already put into place. But like Sheriff has said, we don't know exactly all the extent of what we're going to need to do for our people just yet.
I did get information that some Black Hawk helicopters were also committed in the event that we needed to go.
The Idaho National Guard was prepared to provide a Black Hawk should we need one.
Oh, they was going to get a Black Hawk, guys.
Let's go here.
To your knowledge, is there any special significance to either June 29th or to the mountain?
No. Nope.
Is there any information you have on when the firefighters were shot at to begin with? Was it when they were actively fighting, or was it?
Well,
Two firefighters were
approximately 1400
unalive by a
hours.
sniper in Idaho, guys. He started a brush
Was there a
fire
potential
to
for the
lure
situation to shift
the
policy
firefighters
or
there. Then he
policy
ambushed
with the
them.
fire
That's what
department
happened.
anywhere? I know you guys are really early.
So, as a rule, you know, what's
They
predictable
found
is
the
preventable.
sniper.
In this
He was
situation,
already unalive.
I'm just not sure how it could have possibly been predicted. So it's really hard to policy that out, but we will be doing a complete review.
You know, you can anticipate or expect some of these things to occur in a urban setting. You can. I've seen it myself. However, in a rural setting, this is very, very, very rare in a rural setting. I mean, I've never seen it many times in an urban setting. I have not seen it in a rural setting.
Two firefighters
Yes, sir. Well, you got the
unalive.
last question. Lucky you.
How
Plus
involved
the
were
sniper.
firefighters in battling this blaze when they arrived there? Was it pretty immediate that these shots rang out, or were they dousing it with water?
Do you know what time they arrived on scene? Yeah.
My understanding is that they were doing a reconnaissance on the fire initially, and that there actually was not any active firefighting at that point. So it was right early on in the incident.
And there was only one fire. I know that there was, misinformation out there that there were multiple fires started, but there was just the one fire.
What's up, LV's barbecue?
Can you tell me fires? Can you spell your name?
Read the chat. Tales in the tale. Two firefighters unalive by a sniper
The
in
Idaho
Idaho,
State
guys.
Police is handling the officer-involved shooting aspect of this investigation. If you have any questions to them, or our commissioner, the chairman of the board, Bruce Matari, you can, or if you'd like to say anything. Okay.
I'll say something here, because there's, my name's Bruce Matari. I am the chairman of the board of the county commissioners in Kootenai County. First, I want to extend my most sincerest condolences to the loved ones of the firemen we lost today, and give my prayers to those injured and fighting for their lives. What happened was senseless and tragic beyond words. I also want to highlight the incredible rapid response from Sheriff Norris and his office, and how they rallied quickly with surrounding law enforcement agencies at the local, state, and federal level, and that includes outside the state in Washington. They quickly contained the suspect and prevented him from further harm to others. The response was phenomenal. June 29, 2025 is a day that we will not forget in this community. It is the day evil showed its face, and we lost two outstanding professionals of the highest quality. And I cannot fathom why anyone would commit such a heinous act. This kind of senseless violence is unheard of here, as the sheriff had mentioned. This is not who we are as a community. And when you hear how others portray the people who live here on the news, it's not true. What happened here
prayers
decades
for those
ago
firefighters
is not
who lost their
reflective of
lives,
fine
man.
people
Prayers for the firefighters
who live here today. And I want everyone to know that this is a wonderful place to live, to raise your family, and visit. It is a place that is comprised of caring and considerate people who look out for each other. And we, this community, will look out for those who are grieving from this tragic loss of their loved ones today. And I ask that the people watching allow time for this community to heal from this unbelievable loss. And that I also want to thank the fact that, the resources are here and that they've been made available at the state level to support our local law enforcement and even at the federal level. It was an outstanding response, and
Sheriff Norris and his
Josh, all you
his
gotta do
office
is read the
deserve
chat.
all the
It'll
credit
tell
for
you.
that. So thank you.
For all the people that's asking what happened, just read the chat.
You look like you have one more question. All right.
2 firefighters unalived in Idaho, guys, by a
I
sniper.
saw mutual aid license plates from Montana. Can you comment at all about if Montana delivered any mutual aid?
I believe Montana was on scene also, yes. Okay.
Sorry, just real quick, are there any evacuations planned for the fire?
At this time, no. But I encourage you, who haven't signed up for Kootenai Alerts, to make sure that we sign up for Kootenai Alerts. And that is the best way. We did send out an alert for people to shelter in place
for the
at this
firefighters and their
time,
families.
if you're in that impacted area. So Kootenai Alerts is a great way to stay informed. Okay, thank you.
Hold on. We got more. Hold up.
Morning.
Let's stop that. Hold on. I didn't mean to go there. They found out who the guy was.
Gut-wrenching story out of Idaho. A procession lining the freeway early this morning in Spokane, Washington, saluting the 2 firefighters who lost their lives during an ambush attack, but also sent a 3rd firefighter to the hospital. The as-yet unidentified suspect is accused of starting a brush fire in a northern Idaho mountain range in an effort to lure first responders into a trap, where he then acted as a sniper to shoot at them once they arrived on scene to fight the blaze.
So sad,
the suspected gunman was found hours after the shooting by police in a wooded area with a weapon near his body. This is Outnumbered. I'm Emily Campagno here with my co-host Harris Faulkner. And also joining us today, Marie Harf, Fox News contributor and former State Department spokesperson under President Obama. Rosanna Scotto, Fox 5 New York anchor and host of The Underground Economy on Fox Nation. And John Yoo, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General, UC Berkeley law professor, and former Justice Clarence Thomas law clerk. Now first, let's go to Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt, live on the ground in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, with the latest.
Subscribe to the channel in order to be able to type.
Emily, some breaking news for you via the Associated Press, which is now reporting that law enforcement officials are telling them that the identity of the gunman in this tragic incident is Wes Rowley, as the Associated Press reports it. We believe.
So to anybody that's just now entering, you must subscribe to the channel to be able to type in the chat. Also, we are reporting on 2 firefighters unalived by a sniper who set a brush fire in order to lure them there and then ambush them, guys. A 3rd firefighter was also injured, but he's expected to recover. Right now, he's fighting for his life, according to reports, man. Very sad situation coming out of Idaho. You know, make sure you're double tapping that screen. That's how you get the likes up if you're on your mobile device, or you can click those 3 dots and hit that thumbs up. Shout out to everybody, man. Prayers for the firefighters and their families.
I believe he is in the region of 20 years old. We do not know anything else about that alleged gunman at this point. Meantime, investigators, of course, still trying to piece together everything that happened here. Last night, the bodies of the 2 firefighters who were killed were removed from the mountain here. They were shot dead, having gone to battle a fire around 1:30 p.m. Pacific time in the mountains here, but within minutes of arriving, found themselves instead facing sniper fire. A hidden sniper opening fire on them, prompting a frantic emergency call from another firefighter. Listen here.
We need law enforcement up here immediately. We've got another Coeur d'Alene firefighter down. We've got 2 unresponsive battalion chiefs, gunshot wounds, multiple gunshot wounds. 2 Coeur d'Alene firefighters are down. I'm pinned down. It's clear to me that this fire was set intentionally to draw us in.
Police, SWAT teams and FBI agents rushed to the scene, around 300 officers in all, and for some time they continued to take sniper fire, with the sheriff saying it was clearly a trap that was set. Listen to the sheriff.
You know, when you have
this is so sad, guys.
An environment where you don't know where the bullets are coming from, because of
The sniper was found
the trees and the
unalive
shrubbery and what have you. It is daunting for police officers, let alone firefighters who are there just to put out the fire. So it's very, very difficult. Very difficult for drones or helicopters to see any individuals up there. So this was a total ambush, taken by surprise.
After several hours, members of a SWAT team discovered the body of a man. He was dead. There was a weapon nearby. And at that point, the sheriff declared that there was no longer a threat. And just to repeat the breaking news, the Associated Press reporting that the shooter has been identified to them by law enforcement officials as a young man called Wes Rowley. As for the
Wes Rowley was the sniper, guys. They identified the suspect. You know, they found him unalive. His name was Wes Rowley.
Condition of the wounded firefighter who was also evacuated from the mountain. He went through emergency surgery last night. The sheriff at that point described him as fighting for his life. We are told this morning that he is in stable condition. One small piece of good news in this terrible tragedy. Emily?
Indeed. Thank you so much. Rosanna, I cannot imagine a worse scenario than our brave first responders rushing to a fire to put it out and just ambushed, totally unprotected, and now to learn that likely the fire was started to lure them in. It's just abjectly terrifying.
So, Emily, you know, I'm glad they have the suspected gunman in custody, or he's now passed. I don't care about him. I don't want to know his motive. I don't want to know his name. I don't want to know his background, his childhood, nothing. He killed 2 innocent firefighters who were running towards danger. They are unsung heroes. The people in that community lined the roadways yesterday as they brought their bodies to the morgue. I don't want to know about this guy. I want to know more about those unsung heroes. That's who I want to know about this morning.
Harris, I spoke with a few of my friends there in the Pacific Northwest who are part of the firefighting community, and they are just absolutely devastated and in shock. This is totally unexpected.
Yeah, and when you hear the real-time call for help and that the firefighters on the ground believe that it was set and they were drawn in, I mean, that's so jarring to know that they're taking incoming fire and they're telling the world what they think has happened. If you'll allow me, Emily, I want to save some of my time for you, John. Is this domestic terrorism?
We don't know yet. I think what we need to have is a full investigation. Unfortunately, we have to know everything about him and his background. In the short term, we need to understand, is it terrorism? Is anybody helping him? Was anybody working with him? That's why the FBI is there, to see if this is part of a larger conspiracy. And then I think we have to figure out ways to punish people like this to stop them, because I totally agree. We have people rushing in to save people's lives. Now they have to worry about people shooting at them. So we have to figure out ways to deter people from ever doing this in the future. If there are people helping him, he's 20 years old, apparently his parents should have known. Then unfortunately they have to be investigated too. It reminds me of cases of minors who've had guns and done school shootings. And we have had to punish the parents for not reporting them if they've stolen guns, if they shouldn't have had.
What is going on with the world today, guys? This is such a sad situation, man. Prayer hands in the chat for the families of the firefighters as well as the firefighters who lost their lives. Continue to pray for the one that's in critical condition right now, fighting for his life. Such a senseless situation at the hands of a crazy man. A lone sniper, police say. They believe he was by himself. He intentionally set this fire in order to get these innocent people, you know, who the news is calling heroes, to the scene to put out the fire and wind up trying to unalive everybody that came. Such a sad situation, man.
Had weapons. I think we have to do that kind of full field investigation here too. In the longer run, we have to think about culture. Shouldn't people be condemning the shooter and praising the firefighters?
Right. All of that is
We're going to talk, I think, later about people who won't condemn terrible speech. At the very least, our politicians should be able to condemn this kind of conduct.
Well, and you hit the reason why I asked that question. Are there add-ons legally if it's a certain category of crime? And you're right, it's too soon to know, but you answered that. Yeah, so we know that there will be, depending on what this is.
Yeah, and there's always enhancements that can be put on line and weight and the like. And I note too, first of all, it's a smaller community there, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. It's rural, it's a tight-knit community, and the first responder community is still reeling from the loss from the deaths there to the firefighters from the fires a few years ago. So this is a community that is still suffering from that. And then to have an ambush occur, it just absolutely defies logic, and it really shocks the conscience, Marie.
Emily, I agree. That was the first thing I thought of when I saw this. Think about what the firefighting community has been through in Idaho, in California. Just think about the LA fires last year. Obviously a different area, but it's one community having been through so much devastation. And fires are getting worse. We know this just on their own in the West. And then to have one set on purpose to hurt them, I agree with you. It's shocking. And I agree with John. We need to know why he did this. We need to know the motive. We need to know how to prevent other people from doing it in the future. And, the investigation is continuing. I'm glad the FBI is there.
Yeah. And depending on the firefighting, many of them, the seasonal and the wildland and the like and volunteer, they hold many jobs.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure they are loved members of the community. And I look forward to learning more about the two firefighters that.
Yeah, man, 2 firefighters basically unalived in Idaho, guys, by a crazy sniper who lured them there by starting a fire. And once they got there, he ambushed them. He hurt one who is basically fighting for his life right now, and he unalived 2 others, man. Such a sad situation. All right, so more on what I brought y'all here for. As they keep me updated with this situation, I'll keep y'all updated. They basically gave a press conference today in the White House, guys, regarding some of the things that's been going on. The big, beautiful bill. They talked about Iran and Israel. They also talked about a new detention center that they opened in Florida they're getting ready to open in Florida for immigrants. It's called Alligator Alcatraz. Lord, have mercy, Jesus. Pray for us all. Let's go. Alligator Alcatraz, guys.
Good afternoon, everybody. Did everyone have a good weekend? Good. It's good to see you back here. We have another busy week. On a scheduling note, tomorrow, President Trump will travel to the great state of Florida to attend the opening of a new illegal alien detention center located at Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport alongside Secretary Kristi Noem, Governor Ron DeSantis, Congressman Byron Donalds, and other state and local leaders. We hope to see many of you there. The facility is in the heart of the Everglades and will be informally known as Alligator Alcatraz.
Alligator
There's only
Alcatraz.
one road leading in, state and local leaders. We hope to see many of you there. The facility is in the heart of the Everglades and will be informally known as Alligator Alcatraz.
Wow,
There's
what
only
a
one
name,
road
guys.
leading in,
Alligator
and there is the
Alcatraz.
only way
Hold
out,
on, one more
Gator
time.
The facility is in the heart of the Everglades and will be informally known as Alligator Alcatraz.
What
There's
in
only
the
one road.
Alligator Alcatraz, guys? You can't make this stuff up. They're opening a brand new, Alligator Alcatraz. Wow.
Leading in, and there is many of you there. The facility is in the heart of the Everglades and will be informally known as Alligator Alcatraz.
Wow.
There is only one road leading in, and the only way out is a one-way flight. It is isolated and surrounded by dangerous wildlife and unforgiving terrain. The facility will have up to 5,000 beds to house, process, and deport criminal illegal aliens. This is an official.
Can we please take time to get the likes up, guys? Double tap that screen if you're on a mobile device, or click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up. If you are up there in the sky and wondering why you can't type, you must subscribe to the channel, and then you can type away. Let's work on that like button, guys. We done had over 1,700 people in the building and only got 148 likes, man. Get the likes up. Show some support to the channel, man. I'm not asking you for any money. I'm just asking you to hit that like button. It's not hard at all. Double tap your screen if you're on a mobile device, or click those 3 dots and hit the thumbs up, man. This is the latest in breaking news, man. And we just found out that Trump and them is opening a brand new facility for immigrants in Florida called Alligator Alcatraz. Lord have mercy.
And low-cost way to help carry out the largest mass deportation campaign in American history. We are truly We are truly coming off a historic week of President Trump racking up win after win on behalf of the American people. President Trump restored peace through strength and acted decisively as commander-in-chief to obliterate the immediate threat of the Iranian regime's nuclear capabilities, and then brokered a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, which continues to hold. Then,
I don't know if it's continuing to hold, because I heard something about them still going at it. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I think somewhere else I seen that Israel and Iran was still at it.
Traveled to the Netherlands and achieved a monumental win for the United States and the NATO alliance by getting our allies to dedicate 5% of their GDPs to military spending. As a result of President Trump unleashing American energy dominance, summer gas prices are at the lowest they have been in 4 years, heading into the July 4th week. And with the incoming Trump economic boom, the stock market continues to roar back, with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ both hitting record highs. And on this point of an economic boom, I bring to you original correspondence from the President of the United States to our Fed Chair, Jerome Powell. As the President has consistently stated, the American economy is booming. And there were so many economic analysts who said that this president's policies would drive our economy down, when in fact we have seen the opposite. We've seen a massive deregulation campaign take place.
What are the gas prices looking like where you're at? Where I'm at, they ain't changed, not really one bit. You know, they still high. They still sky high where I'm at. What about you?
Seen inflation completely diminished from where it was under the reckless spending and the bad policies of the previous incompetent administration. I would remind the Fed chair, and I would remind the entire world, that this is a president who was a businessman first, and he knows what he is doing. He has a proven economic formula that worked in his first term as president.
They say
and
it's
it is
still
working
high.
again.
I hear you.
The one problem that remains is high interest rates for the American people. The American people want to borrow money cheaply, and they should be able to do that. But unfortunately, we have interest rates that are still too high. So the president sent this note to the Fed chair today. And if you look at this chart, this is a chart of all of the interest rates of many countries throughout the world. At the top is Switzerland. They're only paying a quarter for interest rates. Cambodia, Japan, Denmark, Thailand, Botswana, Barbados, Taiwan, Bulgaria, Cuba, Sweden, Morocco, Cabo Verde, South Korea, Algeria, Canada, Albania, Libya, Malaysia, China, New Zealand, Trinidad and Tobago, Czechia, Bolivia, Australia, Costa Rica, the Bahamas, Kuwait, Papua New Guinea, Bosnia, United Kingdom, and the UAE are all paying lower interest rates than the United States of America, which has one of the hottest and strongest economies in the world. The president sent this note to the Fed chair. It says, Jerome, you are as usual too late. You have cost the USA a fortune and continue to do so. You should lower the rate by a lot. Hundreds of billions of dollars are being lost, and there is no inflation. And the president is right. There is historically low inflation thanks to his policies.
She was showing us, interest rates, in other countries against ours. Basically saying we're doing better than they are, Belinda.
And we will continue to drive down the cost of living in this country for Americans. We will continue to deregulate. And it's also incredibly important that we pass this one big beautiful bill, which is the largest tax cuts in American history. And that's why the White House and the president himself have been in touch with lawmakers all weekend long to get this bill passed. And they are working very hard to do so. It remains a top priority for the president. And this bill has exposed the clear differences between Republicans and Democrats in 2025. The Democrats are doubling down on craziness and radical policies that are undermining the very fabric of our country. Just look at the Democrat nominee for New York City Mayor, Zohran Mamdani. He's a Democrat socialist, really a communist, who proudly calls to defund the police, peddles anti-Semitism, praises pro-Hamas groups, wants Israel abolished.
We most definitely exercised the Fair Use Act of 1976 on all videos played. This is for education and news reporting purposes only. Continue to get those likes up, guys. We almost to 200.
Believes wealthy Americans should not exist. Those are his words, just as recent as this weekend. Meanwhile, under President Trump's leadership, Republicans are fighting tirelessly for everyday middle-class working Americans who re-elected this president. And we're carrying out a revolution of common sense. And all of that is packed into this one big, beautiful bill. It delivers the largest middle and working class tax cuts.
Now, y'all know it's been a lot of controversy over the big, beautiful bill. We listened to a lot of what was said yesterday, but Trump and them still pushes basically that it's the best thing that ever happened to America. I'm just saying.
In U.S. history, it keeps America safe by funding the largest ever one-time investment in border security. It's enough to reverse the Biden border invasion. And every single Democrat is against that, against securing our border and deporting millions of criminal illegal aliens. The One Big Beautiful Bill also strengthens and protects Medicaid benefits, despite what Democrats are saying, for eligible American citizens who rely on it, like pregnant women, children, seniors, and people with disabilities, by eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse that threaten to destroy this program that was intended for the most vulnerable in our society. And every single Democrat in Congress is against rooting out that waste, fraud, and abuse, in blocking the 1.4 million illegal aliens who are currently improperly receiving these benefits that should be going to American tax-paying citizens. The Democrats in Congress are more concerned with defending illegal aliens than they are hardworking Americans. And the Big Beautiful Bill also revitalizes our military and enhances our defense capabilities, protects our country from emerging new threats by funding a cutting-edge missile defense system called the Golden Dome. And as we all
What is up with this Golden Dome, guys? I've been hearing them pushing this Golden Dome. It's supposed to protect us, but I'm not sure what it is with this Golden Dome or why we need a Golden Dome around America. What? A Golden Dome? Man, that's crazy.
No, the One Big Beautiful Bill makes the Trump tax cuts permanent. The White House and the president are adamant that this bill is passed and that this bill makes its way to his desk. Republicans need to stay tough and unified during the home stretch, and we are counting on them to get the job done. So, with that, we will take up questions. John Fredericks is in our new media seat today. John, thanks for being here. We'll kick it to you.
Thank you, Caroline. Let's get to the One Big Beautiful Bill first. It
Sure.
appears now you're going to get at least 50 votes in the Senate. There'll be some amendments. What is the president's confidence level in getting 218 votes in the House by the end of this week in order for him to sign it on Friday?
It's a rocket blaster from space. Oh, okay.
The president is very well aware.
So it's not an actual dome. You know, it's just some form of like you said, a rocket blaster. You know, they're going to put some rocket catchers in space in case somebody shoots something at us, right? So it's not an actual gold dome, because I was finna say, if you put an actual gold dome up there, you know, is it gonna come with a retractable roof or something to let some sunlight in? Because if you just put a dome up there, we gonna be in the dark. I'm just saying. So okay, y'all telling me it's the state of the art rocket catching system. Okay, I bet.
This bill needs to not only pass out of the Senate, but it needs to go back to the House, and we need the full weight of the Republican conference to get behind this bill, and we expect them to, and we are confident that they will. The president has been working hand in hand with Senate Majority Leader.
Let's get Ricky up out of here. I most definitely don't smoke no form of narcotics. You know, you got me confused with your daddy. Your daddy is the fiend, not me. I'll never be one. Let's get Ricky up out of here. No. Delete him all the way off the channel. He just took a trip on his favorite rocket ship right up out of here. We'll holler at you, dog. Yeah, there you go. Don't let him type no more. He lost his privilege to type. We'll holler at you, Ricky. You know what I'm saying? Go smoke with your daddy.
And also our House Republican leader, or the Speaker of the House, I'm sorry, Mike Johnson, both of whom will be at the White House today to meet with the president yet again. I believe they were here this morning, actually.
I have one follow-up.
Sure.
You outlined Jerome Powell and the note that the president just sent to him. There are many who believe that Powell has been politicized in a lot of different ways. The president has not been shy about acting on things that he believes in. Why not just fire Jerome Powell and put in somebody that is going to lower rates? Why wait?
Well, it's a good question, and one you can ask the president, because that's a decision for him to make. But you're right to point out the politicization of the Fed, and it's very unfortunate for our country. But Jerome Powell cut rates numerous times ahead of the election when Joe Biden was in this.
Carol, that was not an illiterate question. That was me asking for further details on what's going on with this dome. So when you think about here on Earth in domes, you know, some of them do come with a retractable roof. You know, when you go to football games and stadiums that are enclosed, they have a roof that comes back to let the sunlight in on good days and things of that nature. And then they can put the dome and close it when it's raining outside. Let's get Carol with her stupidity right up out of here. No, it was a question. You know, when you don't know, you ask questions. You know, when you do know, you don't ask because you don't have to. Let's get you right up out of here, Carl. You know, you go smoke with Ricky and his daddy. We'll holler at the both of y'all. Bye, Carl. Have a unsafe journey right up out of here.
But now he refuses to, and the economy is in a much better place. So there really isn't a good explanation for that, and the president is rightfully calling attention to it. Kelly.
Good afternoon. On Iran, the president posted on his social that he is not even talking to them anymore. When we were at NATO, he said he expected the U.S. and Iran to have talks as early as this week, and that he might even want to see a written agreement. What is the update now if he's saying he's not even talking?
So as I told you from the podium last week, I said the administration, and namely our special envoy Steve Witkoff, has been in communication both directly and indirectly with the Iranians. That communication continues. The president himself has not talked to Iran, which he pointed out in his truth statement. Peter.
Thank you, Caroline. Does President Trump want Zoran Mamdani deported?
I haven't heard him say that. I haven't heard him call for that. But certainly he does not want this individual to be elected. I was just speaking to him about it and his radical policies that will completely crush New York City, which is obviously a city that the president holds near and dear to his heart.
There's Congressman Andy Ogles. He wants the Attorney General Bondi to explore denaturalization proceedings because he thinks Mamdani could have misrepresented or concealed material support for terrorism based on rap lyrics he wrote in 2017. Who? This is a word on rap lyrics he wrote. Who are you talking about? Proceedings because he thinks he wants the Attorney General Bondi to explore denaturalization proceedings because he thinks
which is obviously a city.
Somebody in trouble about some rap lyrics.
Andy Ogles, he wants the Attorney General Bondi to explore denaturalization proceedings because he thinks Mamdani could have misrepresented or concealed material support for terrorism based on rap lyrics he wrote.
I don't even know the name of the person that he's talking about.
This is a worthwhile use of the Attorney General's time.
Well, I'll let the president speak to that. I have not seen those claims, but surely if they are true, it's something that should be investigated.
And could President Trump see himself, you said you just talked to him about this, could he see himself working with a mayor, Mamdani, somebody who on Meet the Press this weekend was given 3 chances to condemn the phrase globalize the intifada, but he couldn't?
Yeah, look, the president is always willing to work with everyone. He's working.
Well, we know that now. You're
across the country, Democrat governors.
We know that now. Thank you, though.
People on the far left. He works with Republicans. He works with people in the middle. He wants to do what's right for America, but surely someone who holds these values and is quite literally a communist and condemns every value that makes this country great. Common sense, law and order, low taxes, working hard, and earning your keep in this country.
Yeah, you're right. I need to clean my screen. She most definitely got some extra freckles.
If he is
Let's
elected,
go.
I'm sure you'll hear more from the president on that, but we'll have to see. Hopefully the voters of New York City choose wisely.
I just noticed that. Thank you for pointing it out.
He was hopeful of a Gaza deal within the next week. Can you give us an update on any progress towards that, on any talks that the White House is having?
Your boy say got my girl looking like she got extra freckles. Let's go.
Mr. Dermer is in Washington this week to meet with senior officials here at the White House.
I'll clean it after this.
This administration is in constant communication with Israeli leadership, and the president himself speaks frequently, as you know, to Prime Minister Netanyahu. But this has been a priority for the president since he took office.
Oh man, hey, that's too funny. Got me over here laughing. I can't stop laughing. He say making my girl look like she got extra freckles. Oh man. Let's go.
It is because of this president that humanitarian aid is being brought into the region. It's heartbreaking to see the images that have come out from both Israel and Gaza throughout this war, and the president wants to see it end. He wants to save lives. And however, the main priority for the president also remains to bring all of the hostages home out of Gaza. As you know, his tireless effort has brought home many of the hostages, including all of the American hostages who were held there. So he wants to see both things happen, and we're continuing to work very hard to do those things. Sure.
Yeah, thanks, Caroline. What is the White House's response to Senator Tillis's criticism articulated from the Senate floor yesterday, in which he said passing the big, beautiful bill would betray President Trump's promise to protect Medicaid?
Well, he is just wrong. And the president and the vast majority of Republicans who are supportive of this legislation are right. This bill protects Medicaid, as I laid out for you, for those who truly deserve this program, the needy, pregnant women, children, sick Americans who physically cannot work. And what it does is it ensures that able-bodied Americans who can work 20 hours a week are actually doing so, and that will therefore strengthen.
See, I can handle that, my guy. I don't deport everybody. Just people that ain't got a sense of humor or common sense. You know, just like when I said the dome, you know, do it got a retractable roof? I was being funny, you know, at the same time. But some people take everything so literal, you know, that they thought that I was actually like super serious. Though I didn't understand that it was just a rocket defense system, you know, that it wouldn't basically be an actual dome. When I said, you know, does it come with a retractable roof? I was just being funny. You know what I'm saying? So I can take a good joke. Jokes are funny. I'm with you. I won't deport you for that. But when you come through here just being like you Mr. Know-It-All or talking trash to me, I will get you up out of here. But funny is funny, and that was funny, my guy. Shout out to you.
And protect those benefits for Americans who need it, as well as cutting out the waste, fraud, and abuse, as well as getting 1.4 million illegal aliens off of the program. So all of those measures are actually going to protect it for those who need it. That's the president's position, and that's what this bill does, and that's why Republicans need to vote for it and get it to the president's desk. Stephen.
Criticism from Republican senators.
Thank you, Marley, for subscribing to the channel.
For the passage of this?
No, it's not. We're confident this bill is going to be back at the White House by the 4th of July. Stephen.
Thank you, Caroline. Two questions. On the New York mayoral race, does the president plan to make an endorsement? And secondly, on Jerome Powell, a lot of focus obviously has been on interest rates and him keeping them high, but a new controversy erupted today. My colleague first reported that he's facing Chairman Jerome Powell is facing accusations of lying to Congress, which is a potential crime, about luxurious details of the Fed's $2.5 billion renovation project. Senator Loomis has called attention to this. Some experts want him to be investigated.
She's saying whatever Trump told her to say, Queen. She don't even know what she's talking about. She's just saying what Trump told her to say.
Allegations, and I will raise them to the president's attention and let him speak on them himself. To your first question regarding the mayoral race, the president was asked that yesterday by Maria Bartiromo. He refused to give an endorsement, so you won't get one from me at this podium unless he wants me to do that. Philip, go ahead. And then I can go to you.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you. The president said that he's working on a temporary pause for immigration enforcement in certain industries.
I tell you this, I give Trump team this and Trump. They do a lot of press conferences, guys. They turn over a lot of information, whether it's correct or not. They most definitely, on a day-to-day basis, give a lot of press conferences, man. Shout out to Rika for gifting that membership. Thank you. You know, if you receive that membership, make sure you thank Rika, because she most definitely blessed your game, and she didn't have to. There is plenty of content and members only for all of my members. Yeah, but I give it to Trump and them. They do a lot of press conferences, and they pass along a lot of information, whether it's right or wrong. I give them that.
I'm wondering what you can tell us about how he's determining which industries are deserving of a pass. He mentioned farmers, but what about, say, construction workers? Shouldn't there just be one standard here?
I don't have any.
Let's get Jermaine on a rocket ship ASAP. He said that he likes to eat garbage. We don't care if your channel is garbage or if you like to eat garbage, sir. We don't eat garbage over here, and the channel is most definitely not garbage. You know, your sister garbage. You know what I'm talking about? She trash. That's your bad. Let's get Jermaine right up out of here because he thought he was finna slide one by. We'll holler at you, dog. You garbage and your sister garbage. Don't ever disrespect my channel.
Some more details to read out for you, but what I can tell you is that the White House is working closely every day with the Department of Agriculture as well as the Department of Homeland Security when it comes to workforce enforcement, worksite enforcement, I'm sorry.
Let's get Shib 2.0. He like to be, let's put him in the trash. Yeah, that's probably the same person had they back up, ready for when they got deported. If you don't like it over here, stop typing in my chat and take your big, ugly, snot nose, you know what I'm saying, stick your finger in your ear and lick it looking self right up out of here, dog. We'll holler at you. Nobody asked you to be here anyway.
And the focus of this administration is, of course, to remove public safety threats from the streets and to deport as many of the illegal criminals, especially the violent criminals that we know are still here because of the previous administration. So that's the main priority and the goal.
And then the president has already made cuts to the office of the Director of National Intelligence, but now Senator Tom Cotton has put forward a bill that would cut the office by another 60%. What's the president's reaction to that legislation, and is this something that he would support, those additional cuts?
I don't know if the president's even aware of that legislation, but I will get you a response.
Let's deport Aztec
too. Wants to respond to it. Go ahead.
Boy, you got a lot of accounts. We gonna block them all. It's a mass deportation situation going on over here right now. Yeah, you subscribing to the channel just to get deported.
In the Senate. And then also, can you talk about the CBO estimate that it would add about 11 million uninsured?
Well, look, when you have illegal murderers and rapists and heinous criminals in a detention facility surrounded by alligators, yes, I do think that's a deterrent for them to try to escape. We do know that some of these illegal criminals have escaped from other detention facilities, like one in New Jersey, which I know was recently reported on. So, of course, we want to keep the American people safe, and we want to remove these...
Miko, you kind of late with that joke right there. Somebody already said that the screen was dirty. We laughed about that a while ago. You need to catch up. You're moving too slow. You want to be deported too. We'll holler at you. Get the rockets in the chats, moderators. Let them know that they are free to take a trip at any given second. It won't cost you not $1. I got more rockets than Elon Musk, and I'm deporting people faster than Trump. This is a mass deportation troll situation going on Everything News today. Keep on playing with me. We won't have nobody in here.
Safety threats from our streets, and we want to effectively detain them as best as we can. As for why the president is going, I think his trip to this detention facility actually underscores the need to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill, because we need more detention facilities across the country. The last administration let in nearly 20 million illegal people from all over the world, and this administration is focused on arresting and detaining them. But in comparison to that 20 million illegal criminal population in our country, we only have 7,000 ICE agents in the interior who are doing this very important work. And so we obviously need more personnel, we need more resources, and that's why we need to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill.
On the CBO.
Go ahead. Yes, in the pink.
She said they need to pass the Big Beautiful Bill.
Details of China trade deal. Has the U.S. agreed to ease some export, technology export restrictions?
Sure. Well, the final language that was agreed upon in both Geneva and in London was signed just past week. We can get you that final text of the agreement. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline.
Eamon, and then behind you.
Okay, thanks, Caroline. So on Jay Powell, has the president got a short list of who he wants to see as Jay Powell's successor, and is he going to name a successor as early as this summer?
Already, John Smith, you know what it is.
Does he like Scott Bessent for the job?
Again, I won't get ahead of the president.
On TikTok, if you could real quick, he said yesterday he's got a buyer, but the question there is, does he have a seller? Do you have any indication from the Chinese government that they've authorized
What's up, Ken?
TikTok to the U.S. or to U.S. buyers?
What I can tell you is that these discussions with China regarding the sale of TikTok have been ongoing at the highest level, and they will...
Moderators, we are under attack. Take your posts, you know what I'm saying? Get your rockets ready, because, yeah, it's people that's looking to get deported, you know, every second. They coming in, not talking about the content, you know, basically trying to talk trash. So be on high alert, incoming, high alert. Get the rockets in the chat.
talks continue. As you know, we have another 90-day extension, and it's just to continue to work out this deal and make sure that TikTok stays on for the American people. That's the president's main goal in this, while protecting their privacy and their security. Behind you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. The president has been calling for a deal in Gaza for 2 days, and many posts. Who is blocking the deal?
Barbecue, you probably don't got a weapon because you don't got a work shirt. All the people with work shirts got a weapon. They got this beautiful thing, like Trump said. They got this beautiful thing. It's called a membership. They supporting the channel. You should try that if you want to become a member of the Everything News National Guard, aka Secret Service, aka Channel Protection Crew. I'm just saying, shout out to all my members who got their green cards. Y'all don't have to worry about being deported.
Other things, when he posted on Netanyahu's trial, also he said it interferes with the negotiations on Iran and on Gaza. What did he mean by that?
I'm sorry, to your second question?
When he posted about the Israeli Prime Minister trial,
Yes.
he said it interferes with the negotiations on Gaza and on Iran. What did he mean by that?
It interferes because it physically and logistically was interfering. The prime minister was slated to go to court last week when he's in the middle of negotiating a peace deal and bringing hostages out of a war-torn region. And so the president was simply, I think, emphasizing his empathy that he has for Bibi Netanyahu and seeing him go what he's going through with his own judicial system in the state of Israel. Clearly, the president knows that very well.
Let's go,
He,
Belinda.
too, was a victim of a judicial system that was trying to put him in jail, as you all know. You all covered it, but President Trump prevailed. That's why he's back in the Oval Office, and he believes that Bibi Netanyahu is a great leader for the people of Israel. The president just worked with him closely to end that 12-day war and to obliterate...
Clarence, you late, dog. Yeah, they got their green cards. My members, they show up in green when they type. You know, anybody that's gray, that doesn't have a membership, is subject to get deported at any given time. You know, but my members with their green card, you know, they get to rock out. Shout out to all my members and my moderators.
Iran's nuclear facility to take out that imminent threat, not just to the state of Israel, but also to the United States of America and the rest of the world. And he believes that Prime Minister Netanyahu should be praised for that. Go ahead.
Caroline, on the mega bill and the amendment that would limit Medicaid extension.
Kevin, my screen is dirty because I didn't clean it today. And your face is dirty because you don't never clean it. Yo, bad, go wash your face and I'll watch my screen. You know, we just got another one that got deported. No, deport him. Stop being nice. No, we don't do that over here. You get deported. He ain't got a green card anyway. We'll holler at you. My screen is dirty for the same reason your face dirty. I need to clean my screen and you need to wash your face. How about that?
Under the Affordable Care Act, does the president want that amendment to pass?
The president wants this bill to pass. Meredith.
Hey, thanks, Caroline. On trade, we have this looming July 9th deadline coming up. We heard the Treasury Secretary say that he expects to wrap up these trade deals by Labor Day, but when President Trump was asked yesterday about any extensions by July 9th, he said I think that would be necessary. So is the president ruling out any extensions on trade for any nations, even if they're negotiating in good faith?
Well, you heard from him directly. He said he did not think that it would be necessary. He is going to set the rates for many of these countries if they don't come to the table to negotiate in good faith. And he is meeting with his trade team this week to do that. Mary.
Thanks, Caroline. I just watched...
Already, Clarence. Shout out to you, dog.
And it kind of appeared to be promoting this app where you can tell people where...
Well, okay, Corman, if you want to deport yourself, you know, that's fine with me. I don't think you did much to get deported, but if you want to deport yourself, you know, that's fine. Self-deport. You don't got a green card anyway. We'll holler at you. Good day.
Given the recent rise...
An app that tells
Hey, Rhonda.
And given the rise, I believe, 500% increase in assaults on ICE agents, I wanted to see if you could comment on that and why CNN would be promoting such an app.
Well, it's a very good question. I'll have to go back and watch the clip myself, but surely it sounds like this would be an incitement of...
Man, who are y'all? The camera police? We got another one just came, and you need to clean your body. You know, you need to go to a car wash and spray yourself with the soap and the degreaser that they got there. Whatever your name is. Let's get the Veen up out of here. We'll holler at you, Veen. I'll clean my screen when you clean your body. How about that?
Violence against our ICE officers, as you know, as you stated, there's been a 500% increase in violence against ICE agents, law enforcement officers across the country who are just simply trying to do their jobs and remove public safety threats from our communities. And that's something we as Americans, including journalists at CNN who live in many of these cities where illegal aliens are hiding and were let in from the previous administration, should be very grateful for. So we haven't seen the clip. We'll take a look at it, but certainly it's unacceptable that a major network would promote such an app that is encouraging violence against law enforcement officers who are trying to keep our country safe.
Man, these people come through here like they ain't never seen the screen be dirty before. I know how to clean my screen. I clean it after this broadcast. What's up, lives everywhere? You know, I just didn't notice it today. But thank you for noticing. But you notice that you stink every day. And you should have been done washed your butt by now. You know, so instead of coming through here telling me about my screen, let me tell you about your body and your BO that you carry around every day in real life. Matter of fact, go exercise and get your 500-pound self up out the bed, you know, so that you can live life like a normal person. Because when they come to get you to give you a bath, wherever you going, they going to have to cut your wall out. That's why he's so worried about my screen. Worry about yourself. Don't worry about me. If you don't like to see my screen dirty, come back tomorrow. I'll clean it. But until then, we just going to work with what we got. How about that?
Shelby.
I just wanted to get a clarification on the Senator Rick Scott's amendment. It sounds like the president is agnostic about whether it's attached. Is that accurate?
Look, I'm not going to get into the details of the discussions that are ongoing right now. But the president wants these senators to come to a conclusion, to get this bill back to the White House as soon as possible and make sure that it's a piece of legislation that can make its way back through the House as well. So obviously there's some ping-ponging between both sides of Capitol Hill right now, but that's why Senator Thune and Speaker Johnson are working with the president in lockstep every step of the way. In the back, News Nation, go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. The president did announce.
Let's go, Joe.
The president did announce last week that the trade deal with India is closed and this could happen anytime soon. Are there any roadblocks as of now?
I'm really a nice guy, guys. I'm just messing with the trolls right now. They don't understand that you can't troll a troll. I done been there and done that, you know, so your little jokey jokes ain't working. You need to go back to your back to the drawing board and come up with some better ones, you know. I know how to joke too. I can talk just as much trash as y'all. Y'all ain't heard nothing over here on Everything News talking about a dirty screen, because we gonna talk about your dirty body, you know, and your dirty face and your dirty ears. And don't take it all the way there, because no, let me stop. Let's go.
Are there any updates on that? And how does the president see this about China's role or its influence in the Indo-Pacific region?
Sure, yes. The president said that last week, and it remains true. I actually just spoke to our Secretary of Commerce about it. He was in the Oval Office with the president. They are finalizing these agreements, and you'll hear from the president and his team, his trade team, very soon when it comes to India.
China? Counter China on that front?
Yes, I mean, look, India remains a very strategic ally in the Asia Pacific, and the president has a very good relationship with Prime Minister Modi, as you know, and he will continue to have that. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. On the reconciliation bill, Senator Tillis from the floor yesterday seemed to suggest President Trump was getting bad counsel on the effects of the bill. Is President Trump aware of the analyses, and there are several of these, that suggest if rural hospitals potentially close, if there are Medicaid patients in the millions that become ineligible for that?
Yes, and that claim is just simply untrue. Rural hospitals comprise 7% of all hospital spending on Medicaid, and that illustrates that they have not benefited from the massive increase of waste, fraud, and abuse under the Biden administration. So this bill strengthens Medicaid. It will protect those benefits that hardworking Americans need, and that's why the president wants this bill to pass. The senator was wrong. The president put out a Truth Social post addressing it, and then the senator announced he's no longer running for office anymore. So I think that case has been closed, and the White House is continuing to focus on getting this legislation to the president's desk for his signature. Go ahead. Yes, you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Well, you and then you. There's confusion here.
Question on Syria.
Go ahead.
The Syrian government get back to you that they are ready to join the Abraham Accord. Is there any discussion with the Syrian and Israeli government for having a security agreement? This is the first question. And the second question, what's the end goal?
Shout out to everybody that's subscribing, man. If you're unsubscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. The trolls kind of got me off of my news reporting to talk about them. I know exactly what they were doing. So let me get back into broadcasting mode so that I can give y'all the details on what's going on. My bad, y'all. You know, I just wanted to show the trolls that they ain't stopping nothing because they mad because they face dirty.
Other issues like the proxy groups and ballistic missiles or even trade with Iran.
So as for discussions between Syria and Israel, you'll have to reach out to those respective governments. I can't comment on that. But what I can tell you is that this afternoon, the president will be signing an executive order to terminate the United States sanctions program on Syria. And this is in an effort to promote and support the country's path to stability and peace. The order will remove sanctions on Syria while maintaining sanctions on the former President Assad, his associates, human rights abusers, drug traffickers, persons linked to chemical weapons activities, ISIS and their affiliates, and Iranian proxies. And this is, again, an action that the president promised and shocked the world with in Saudi Arabia because he's committed to supporting a Syria that is stable, unified, and at peace with itself and its neighbors. The president met with Syria's new president when we were in the Middle East, as you know, and so this is another promise made and promise kept by this president to promote peace and stability in the region. Go ahead, Aaron.
Questions on two topics, if you don't mind. I will start with MPD here. First on Canada. Given the census now,
I don't know if it was a sleeper cell or not, guy. They said they got to do more research on his background to find out if he was a sleeper cell or if he was with some kind of organization or not.
Over the weekend, how did he get Carney to drop it? And also, what's the impact on American tech companies given this latest progress as the president says he has been fighting for American tech companies?
It's very simple. Prime Minister Carney in Canada caved to President Trump in the United States of America. And President Trump knows how to negotiate, and he knows that he is governing the best country and the best economy in this world, on this planet. And every country on the planet needs to have good trade relationships with the United States. And it was a mistake for Canada to vow to implement that tax that would have hurt our tech companies here in the United States. The president made his position quite clear to the prime minister, and the prime minister called the president last night to let the president know that he would be dropping that tax, which is a big victory for our tech companies and our American workers here at home.
And on Harvard, if you don't mind, the administration today formally accused Harvard of violating civil rights laws by not doing enough to fight anti-Semitism. We know that the president has talked to us before about Harvard potentially having a deal with administration in the coming days. Do you have an updated timeline for that? How's the negotiations going? And is more pressure needed for Harvard to take fighting anti-Semitism seriously?
Well, there was quite a direct letter that was sent to Harvard this morning.
Can we get 30 more on that like button, guys? We are 30 away from 300. Can we double tap that screen or click those three dots and hit that thumbs up? It most definitely helps out the channel, guys. Can I get 30 more of y'all to give me some likes so we can get these likes up? The trolls took theirs back because they were mad. They got deported. Oh, well, you know, you should have applied for everything news citizenship.
As you know, the negotiations are taking place behind closed doors, so I won't comment on that. But what I will share with all of you, for those who haven't seen it, is the context of this letter, because I think it's very important. And this comes from the Department of Health and Human Services, which concluded after a thorough investigation that Harvard University is in a violent violation of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, and national origin. And if you read some of the content of the investigation and what they found, the majority of Jewish students experienced negative bias or discrimination on their campus, while a quarter of Jewish students at Harvard felt physically unsafe. Jewish and Israeli students were assaulted and spit on. They hid their kippahs for fear of being harassed and concealed their Jewish identity from classmates for fear of ostracization. Images were widely circulated amongst the Harvard community that trafficked in obvious anti-Semitic tropes including one that showed a $sign inside of a Star of David, and the campus was vandalized with anti-Semitic stickers, including one that showed the Israeli flag with a swastika. The Harvard campus was racked by demonstrations, as you all know, violent protests that violated the university's
5 more likes, guys. 5 more likes.
Conduct. The demonstrations called for genocide and murder, denied Jewish and Israeli students access to campus spaces. These are all facts that Harvard cannot dispute, and that's why the administration has found them in violation of Title VI and has threatened to withhold their federal funding, because if you break federal law, you should not be receiving federal tax dollars. And so I rest my case on Harvard. Andrea.
Yeah, so President Macron.
Lord have mercy, SNL, you're so late with the dirty screen jokes, man. We done heard 5 million, 44 billion dirty screen jokes already, dog. We don't need you to come through and tell me to do nothing. You know, how about you go pressure wash your body? You know, and then come telling me something about Windex on the screen, dog. You don't even clean your nose or your ears. You know what I'm talking about? I bet you got lint in your belly button. Stop worrying about the screen, dog, and worry about yourself. Let's get you deported real fast. You know what I'm saying? We'll holler at you. Go find you somebody else to tell them about what they screen look like. Worry about yourself. You know, go get them boogers out your nose.
Earlier today said that tariffs levied by powerful countries are often a form of blackmail, and criticized the sort of process that's underway. Didn't mention the United States specifically, but said that these tariffs are really hurting developing countries. So there's this big UN conference going on. What do you say to that? What is the president? Was he aware of that comment, and do you have any response?
I think the president and the White House would certainly reject that characterization by Prime Minister Macron. Tariffs are an effective use of presidential power to bring back the middle class, to bring back our manufacturing industry, which was the backbone of our American economy and has been hollowed out by globalist politicians who have caved to foreign countries instead of doing what's right for American workers. That's why the president is effectively utilizing his authority to wage tariffs and to utilize tariffs, and continues to be in discussions and negotiations on trade to do what's right for America. And Europe and the rest of the world might not be used to that, but President Trump is back in town, and he's going to do what's right for our people and our country.
Follow up on Netanyahu. So there's a report in Israeli media that the Prime Minister will actually be here, that Netanyahu will be here today meeting with the President. Can you confirm that?
I don't believe Prime Minister Netanyahu is here today. I think you guys would know about that by now. Unless there's something going on I don't know about, but I don't believe he is. I do know he has expressed interest in coming to Washington and meeting with the President, and we are working on a date for that. I do not believe it is today, but that would be fun. You never know in this White House, let's be honest. Go ahead.
Thanks, Carolyn. Does the president support this new measure in the big, beautiful bill that would impose steep new taxes on new wind and solar projects?
I believe you're referring to the credits for wind and solar projects. And what
about the new tax? There's a new tax that it's estimated would add 10 to 20% to the cost of any new wind and solar projects that start after this year.
Again, I don't want to comment on the specifics of provisions, but I'm sure the president will speak on that directly. Again, this is an ongoing process. The president continues to be very much engaged with the leadership in both the Senate and the House to get this bill back to the desk.
Did the president ask for that provision? Because the National Building Trades Union is saying that it's the equivalent of terminating more than 1,000 Keystone XL pipeline projects. Is that something that would concern him?
Well, the president spoke on this yesterday in his interview, and he said he understands that legislators want to protect jobs in their communities and in their districts. And so he understands why some of them are against this provision, but he also understands why people want the provision. So again, this is an ongoing deliberation and discussion, and the president is engaged in this very much. Go ahead.
Thanks, Carolyn. We've been hearing from White House officials for weeks that you're close on trade deals with a number of countries. Can we get any update on which countries will have deals by the 9th and when they're making announcements?
I'll let the president and the trade team speak on it.
So the CBO estimates that the Senate bill would increase the deficit by nearly $3.3 trillion.
This is one of the most fiscally conservative pieces of legislation that has ever made its way through Capitol Hill. There's $2 trillion in mandatory savings in this bill. And not only that, the projected growth that this bill will bring to our...
Lord, have mercy. Y'all is going to heckle me to death talking about the screen. It'll be okay, guys. I'm going to clean it. I promise. Lord, have mercy. Let's get Christian in time out.
It will be an economic boom. The Council of Economic Advisors has an analysis that shows that the bill will generate $4.1 trillion in economic growth, and it will cut taxes, putting more money...
You must be trying to play with yourself or something. The screen doesn't stop the information from coming across. So why are you so worried about the screen, my guy? You know what I'm saying? You worried about the screen more than you are the information that's coming through the speakers. Lord, have mercy. Wow, I never saw so many people that cared about somebody else's screen before. Man, get off the gas. They worried about the screen. Yeah, you most definitely got to be playing with yourself.
Back into the American people's pockets. That's why this president wants this bill to pass. And I know he's busy working the phones and doing what he needs to do today to make it happen. So we'll see you all later. Thank you. We'll see you in Florida tomorrow.
Lord, have mercy, Jesus. So worried about a screen, guys. All right, so I walked down the Idaho situation with the sniper who unalive 2 firefighters. We most definitely discuss Trump's new alligator detention center. You know, alligator Alcatraz detention center today. You know, and the Senate is now basically preparing to vote on the big, beautiful bill, guys. You know, they're going to vote on the big, beautiful bill. I'm going to come back because I've never seen so many people worried about a screen. Let me clean my screen, and I'll be back a little bit later. Shout out to everybody that stopped through. Shout out to everybody that subscribed to the channel. Most definitely shout out to all my moderators, all my members. Y'all make this worth doing. Yeah, man, I'm going to come back. Shout out to all the gifts as well. Let me clean my screen because they is getting on my nerves, y'all. When I come back, I'll have a perfectly clean screen and you won't have nothing to say. You know what I'm talking about? And while I'm cleaning my screen, all of y'all who was telling me about the screen being dirty, go clean your bodies. I'll holler at y'all. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Y'all be safe. That's all we got today on the news so far.